smooth. Ooh, swearing. Spoilers. Opinions. Jordan doesn't like it when I sing on the podcast. Now.
250 reasons to stay indoors.
Hello and welcome to 250 Reasons to Stay Indoors. It's another day and another dollar. I'm Jordan.
I'm Keiran.
And this is the podcast where we watch the IMDB top 250 films. We let you know whether they were worth watching or whether they were worth going outside. That made no sense, but you get the idea by now.
I get it.
So what are we watching this week, Kieran?
This week we are watching Back to the Future.
Whoa! That was me like falling through a time portal or something.
It came out in the year 1985 and it is number 45 on the list at the time of recording, which is when, Jordan?
Right now.
Exactly.
1985, we alive.
I just want to say straight off the bat, it's one of those films that fucking everyone's like, oh my god, have you not seen this film?
Future!
And
Where's my hoverboard?
I haven't seen Back to the Future.
You haven't seen it?
No, this is what I'm
Oh,
saying.
shit.
This is one of those.
I thought this was going to be like, have you seen it? Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah, of course, we've all seen Back to the
No,
Future.
I haven't seen Back to the Future.
Oh, damn.
So, okay,
Jason?
can I tell you what I know about Back to the Future?
Yeah.
Marty McFly is a
Yeah.
character.
Yeah.
The opening scene is him playing a guitar.
Okay.
DeLorean is the time vehicle.
Yeah.
He maybe almost fucks his mum.
Right.
And that's about all I know.
Okay.
So there's some fuckery with like stopping his dad from doing something. I don't bloody know. He goes back to the past to stop things from happening in the future, and so hence Back to the Future. When he's in the past, he has to go back into the future.
Right.
So he has to get back there to the future.
To be honest, I've seen this film before, and it sounds like you have a better understanding of it than me.
Well,
All I can remember is a scene where he's in the 50s and he has a milkshake. That's literally it.
if you have a milkshake.
And Marty McFly has a milkshake. What year is it?
So I'm looking forward to watching it because I'm looking forward to finally seeing a film that everyone's like,
Right.
"Well, when are you gonna see the
This is
film?"
probably one of the first, like, the big ones, you know, that we've done.
We've done some big ones.
Nah, but like
But, like,
the big
really-
trilogies and, you know, like Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, like the big, like everyone's seen this.
Yeah, but no one else hypes out like the Back to the Future Part 2, Part 3. We will do them. God damn it, we'll do them.
Get hyped. I think they get hyped. I
Not
think
to the
Back
extent.
to the Future gets spoken about as a whole.
Does it?
I think so.
I feel like everyone goes on about the first one and no one says, "Oh yeah, but you have to see the second one to understand it or to really, you know, like no one goes."
Yeah, but you don't have to do that though.
No one, yeah, but no one discusses like how.
But when you
sick
talk
the
about
second
Lord of
one
the Rings,
is.
no one. Well, no, people do that. I suppose.
Same with the Matrix. Like people don't hype the second and third one
Well,
as
that's
much
because
as the
those
first
ones
one.
weren't very good.
Well, I don't know if Back to the Future Part 2 and Part
Is
3
the
will be
Matrix
that
on the
good.
list? Don't check now. But
Yeah,
I hope
I'm quite sure it is.
Okay.
Quite sure it
I
is.
like those ones. I
But
don't wanna watch
Matrix
that
2
again.
and 3, they're not.
Oh,
And nor is Back to the Future 2 and 3.
okay. But we're going to watch them anyway because we need to see things through.
Yeah, because we like, what's it, closure?
Closure.
Yeah, exactly. Are you looking forward to watching Back to the Future again?
I am. The last time I watched it, I think I must have been like, well, I was like 12, 14.
Wow.
You know, that age. Like, yeah, I barely remember it. And I don't think it really, I don't think I really cared about it. I think I was just watching it because I'd heard that it was a good film kind of thing. I think now having a little bit of adult perspective might help it.
So I'm looking forward to watching it too, purely for taking the virginity of having seen this film. So I think I'm gonna have a good time, but I think there's gonna be a lot of bullshit as well.
Are you taking the virginity or is the film taking the virginity from you? I think it's your virgin.
Ooh. I think the film is taking my virginity of having seen it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. But with consent.
But I'm the one who's doing it.
No, yeah, you're just consensually losing your virginity.
The film doesn't come to me and say, "Hey."
No, exactly. But I mean, you could still go up to a person and be like, "Fuck me," and then they're still taking your virginity, but you're doing it with consent.
God damn. I've never thought about that before. You know what? I've never had reason to.
No,
This is a first for me. This is a first. Wow.
Yeah.
What a time to be alive.
Okay, well, let's go and lose your virginity.
Oh, thanks, Jordan. Let's do it.
And we're back, and also back with our good friend Shav. Hello.
Hello.
Hey.
He's back again.
Shall we do some fast thoughts?
We should do some fast forwards.
I'm going to start.
Future.
Oh, okay. DeLorean.
Doctor.
Flux capacitor.
Kissing your mum.
I can't think of anything. I've forgotten everything.
Watching you just like struggle.
School discos.
Enchantment Under the Sea.
I didn't understand what that was at all.
It took a couple of seconds for me to just register. Enchantment Under the Sea.
I remembered something. Let me have it.
Yeah.
Johnny Be Good.
Yeah, guitars.
Plutonium.
Libyans.
Good dogs.
Bad dogs.
No, there was no bad dogs.
Bad dads.
Weak dads.
Bad biffs. Then sad biffs. Mad biffs.
Manure.
Oh, skateboarding.
Cool guy.
Diet Pepsi.
Clocks.
Tab.
Okay, that's it.
Yeah.
All right, what's going to happen right now, listeners? I'm about to sum up the film in 15 seconds. Shav, if you want to do one after mine, you're more than welcome to. But if you don't want to, that's totally fine.
I think you should give it a go. We'll put you on the spot.
But I'll do mine first so that you can learn from my
And
mistakes.
then I can just
we'll get the
repeat
official one
exactly
out of the
what
way.
you said.
Yeah. But so long as it fits 15 seconds. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, go.
There's a kid who's friends with the scientist. He ends up going back into 1985 1955 when his parents were getting together. He interrupts their lives and has to make sure that they get back together again. But his mum fancies him. He manages to put his parents back together again and saves the scientist's lives at the end of the film.
You weren't even close.
Oh, jeez, was that like 12?
18.4.
Oh, what? I was going longer because I thought I'd gone too short.
No, yeah, you kept on like repeating yourself.
Shit! I thought I was way too quick. That's why I went longer.
No.
Damn. All right, Shav. Now it's
Today
your
I
turn.
learnt.
Okay, are you ready?
Sure.
3, 2, 1, go.
Boy, friends with scientist. Scientist makes a time machine out of DeLorean. Go back into 1955. Mum fancies him, manages to get his parents back together because he's fading from the photo, nearly dies and fades away into nothingness, but manages, gets back and defeats the Libyans.
Defeats the Libyans.
15.2.
Ah, that's how it's done.
Damn it!
That's a first time.
Shit.
One hit wonder. There you go, mate.
Shit.
You need to work on your
I need to work on the thing that I've been doing for the past year.
your 15-second pitch is definitely one of your KPIs, and you are not reaching it at the moment. We need
What am I? What?
your KPIs, your key performance indicators, for when it comes around to the annual review. My
Wow,
friend,
you could
you
tell.
are definitely
I could tell
not
that you
getting a
work in an
raise.
office. A key performance indicator. Never heard of that. Okay, cool.
Oh yeah, because you can just drift along doing whatever you want.
Like a fucking freelance freeloader,
Yeah,
can't I?
yeah. You fuck.
Okay, let's do a synopsis.
Yeah.
All right, we're in 1985.
Clocks.
There's clock. Yes, please just. That's how you jump in the
That's
synopsis.
the kind of shit we want.
Just say the things. Yeah. Cool. So
Clocks.
and so there's clocks in the room, and Marty comes in and he's like, Doc, where are you? The doctor's no longer he's not at his place. He's fucked off somewhere.
The doctor's out.
And Marty plugs in the guitar into a massive amplifier, and he blows himself away with how loud this amplifier is. And then
Literally.
yeah. And he picks up the phone because Doc's like, "Oh, meet me tonight at 1:15. Because I've got something I want to show
reasons.
you. Because there's something I want to show you in a car park."
Yeah, I've never considered that's not great.
What's that, 16-year-old Marty? You gotta come and see me in the car park at 1:15 in the morning so I can show you some stuff.
Where's the dog? He's here too.
So yeah, and then all the alarm clocks go off.
So then Marty goes to school
He's late for school
because he's late for school.
And
He
his-
skateboards his way to school
Skateboards,
like
yeah,
a
on the
cool
back.
person.
What? How do you do that? What's it
fresh out
called?
of Tony Hawk's Underground.
What's it called when you go on the back of a car and you're skateboarding?
I can't. It's like sketching
Ah.
Something like that. I don't know. Maybe we're not going to get it. Move on.
Okay, I'm
So
over it.
he does that on. I'm pretty sure he's sketching. He
finds
does
his
a couple of. Fuck you. He does a couple of them, and then gets to the school. But then his girlfriend comes out. She's like, Marty, you can't come in because the principal will see you, and you'll get 4 tardies.
Tardy!
4 tardies is not
Can't
not
have 4
good.
tardies.
But then they go in anyway for some reason, and then he sees them, and then he gets another tardy, and then the principal is like,
Barack Obama
your
comes-
dad's a piece of shit, and you're a piece of shit too. And then he like touches noses. It's kind of strange.
What? And he touches noses.
Yeah, no, they like touch noses. It's really weird.
By the way, I said that the president was Barack Obama. That's no longer the president, but
No,
I just kind of
Ronald
wanted-
Reagan is the president in 1985.
That's
at
a
that
good
time.
point.
Yeah.
They finished school.
Clocks.
And
There is a clock. in that
and
scene.
they're in a town square, and Marty's like, "Oh, hey, wait, no, it's not Angelica. That's City of God,
yeah.
different film." And Marty's there with his girlfriend, who is called
I can't remember.
Girlfriend number 1.
How bad is that? How bad is that? Okay, so he's with his girlfriend, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I love you. Here's my number," on the back of a piece of paper that someone gave to them because they were like, "Save the clock tower." They're trying to change the clock tower, and blah 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 blah. Now Marty goes and sees his parents at home, and his parents are fucking boring, and his brother and sister are like really boring as hell as well. And he's like, okay, my life's a bit shit. He wakes up in the middle of the night, and the doctor's like, oh, can you go swing by my place because I forgot. What did you forget? The camcorder. And on your way
I'll bring
to
the camcorder at 1:15 in the parking in the car park.
Yeah.
so
No. Can you go and get a camcorder because I've lost mine? Go and find a camcorder to bring.
I don't want this to be on my camcorder.
And it's important. I need to film this.
Yeah, that sounds a little bit weird. So he goes to the car park at
Safeguarding.
at the mall, and he starts filming this thing.
He drives over there, and then he skates
skateboards.
over there, and then he sees Doc, and Doc's there with his camper van, and he's got the DeLorean, and Marty's like, "Whoa, that's a cool car," and he's like, "If you're traveling in time, you got to do it in style." So
he puts his dog in the DeLorean.
They do a little test with the stopwatches. So there's like,
Clocks.
the clocks. Yeah, exactly.
And
exactly.
because the doctor and the dog have the same. The dog
Mind.
doesn't talk or anything. The doctor and the dog. The doctor, if
they
you will.
share the same soul.
They have identical stopwatches that are perfectly synced up, and the doctor sends the dog into 1 minute into the future, and when it comes back into like a minute later, the dog comes back and has the same time as when he left.
Yeah,
if that
so
makes sense.
the clock is 1 minute behind the doctor.
Yes,
What is his name?
Doctor
Doc Brown.
Emmett Brown.
Emmett Brown. There we go. Dr. Brown.
Jennifer is the girlfriend's name.
Thank you. So then the Libyans turn up, and long story short,
Basically, because the Libyans had plutonium,
Yeah.
and the doctor was like, "I'm going to scam them out of their plutonium." Go on, Jordan.
they shoot Dr. Brown, and Marty jumps into the DeLorean. There's a little chase scene, and then eventually Marty drives it up to 88 miles per hour, which is the speed required to time travel. He does it accidentally because I don't think he's just trying to get away.
Yeah.
And then he ends up in 1955, which because the doctor sort of set it so that he could go back in time to see himself when he got the idea to make the flux capacitor. So he goes back and he's in 1955 and he's like, whoa, dude, I'm in 1955. This is crazy.
And there's just fields around everywhere, and he's like, "Well, I'm getting fucking out of here." So he drives onto the main road, but the car runs out of steam. Well, it's not. It doesn't run on steam, but
Steam powered.
Yeah,
Steam powered time traveling car.
choo choo. So
So he has to find Thomas Edison
So he.
in order to develop an even more efficient steam engine.
Because Thomas Edison made steam engines, did he? Right.
Edison's
No.
I think Steam Engines was Newcastle, wasn't it? What's his name? Stevenson?
Stevenson.
Stevenson. You're right. I'm sorry.
So he hides his DeLorean behind a billboard and puts some trees on top of it, and then he walks to the nearest town, which is again his hometown, where his parents grew up. He goes into a milkshake bar and he sees his dad from when he was his age, and he's like, "Oh, holy shit!"
And his
that's my
dad's
dad."
just as much of a bitch as he was when,
Oh my god,
when he's older.
he's a bit of a fucking
just a little beta cuck.
he is a cuck. He's a proper soy boy. He really is. So he's there, and he's getting bullied by Biff, who is he always has been the school bully. And by the way, when we saw Marty go home, we saw his dad get fucked around by Biff as well. So he's stayed being dicked over by Biff his whole life. I want to say bitched over, but that wasn't really working.
No.
So Marty's like, "Oh, hey, Dad. I mean, George. I know you. Blah blah blah." And George is just like, "What the hell?" So I'm going to refer to young mum and dad as George because that's his name.
Yeah.
And young mum as Lorraine Bates is her name, I think.
In the blood of infants.
No, she doesn't. So that was so unnecessary. He goes and says, "Oh, George, blah blah blah," and then he just tries to follow him because he wants to know more about his dad when he was a kid. And George is back at he's outside of Lorraine's house, spying on her getting undressed. With binoculars climbing a tree, which is pretty fucking freaky.
And Marty's like, my dad's a peeping Tom.
So the way that George and Lorraine met, his parents, is that Lorraine's dad ran over George in the middle of the street, but Marty saw this happening and was like, "Fuck Dad," and pushed him out of the way. And then George ran away and then went to his own home. So Marty was like knocked out unconscious, and it turned out that Lorraine now fancies Marty because he's basically taken the place of his dad in history. So Lorraine is full on chirping Marty, like really wants to get on him. And Marty's like, but you're my mum, but you're also kind of fit, but you're my mum. No, I'm not down for this. So he runs away, goes to George's place, and he's like, "Hey man, I really think that you should." Oh no, he goes to find the doctor. So he goes to the doctor's place, and the doctor's like, "Oh, come in, I'm doing some experiment, but it wasn't working." Blah blah blah. And Marty's like, "Listen, I'm from the future. Trust me. Also, you created time travel." And so they go back to see the car, and they drive the car back to Doc's place, and the doctor is basically really fucking happy that in the future at some point he's probably actualized time travel. And he had some sketch of the flux capacitor, and Marty shows it to Doc. He's like, "Hey, look, you've done it in real life. It's legit. It's a real thing." So they're fucking happy, but Doc's like, "You can't go anywhere because you're going to change the course of history if shit starts going weird." So he, Marty pulls out a picture of him and his brother and his sister, and he's like, "Look, you've already started to change the course of history because, or the future rather, because his brother's face has started to blur out the picture." As if to reference the fact that his parents didn't get together in the future that's about to play itself out. So what Marty has to do is make sure that his parents get together and they get it on. So he goes to George's place and he's like, "Listen, I think," or the next day at school, he's like, "Listen, I think you should get with Lorraine. Like, she proper fancies you." There's a scene in the lunch dining room where they're like, "Oh, you should get with Lorraine," but then Biff comes along and just like starts fucking with Marty. They're in a milkshake place again, and Lorraine's there, and so's Biff, and George, but Marty encourages George to start chatting up Lorraine, but that doesn't really go well. There's a bit of fucking round, and the doc's just like, "Oh, we got to find a way to get enough energy to get you back into the future." Name of the film, wrong film. And I just sung Jurassic Park. Oh, for fuck's sake! It's for God's sake. And yeah, yeah.
What one is that one?
E.T.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Another Spielberg one. Anyway, so right. So there's like. And they realize that to get enough energy, they don't have plutonium in 1955. No, they don't have enough of it. So they're like, "Oh, the only thing that's going to give us enough energy is a lightning bolt." But Marty knows that there's going to be a lightning bolt because he has the thing from the church earlier. In the future, if that makes any sense, when the people they're like, "Oh, save the church clock tower thing." we want to save the clock tower because it got hit by lightning on this particular day, and it just so happens that this is like a week later than when Marty went into the past. So he's like, oh, I'll just have to stick around a week because there's going to be a storm. So they organize that on one night there's going to be this thing that happens. Marty is organized for his parents to get together. He manages to get them together on the night that on the same night that the lightning bolt strikes. The way he works it out, he's like, listen, I'm going to stage a rape with this girl. You come in and intervene and knock me out and save the day and like be her hero. And then you take her as a date and then you get with her. But what happens is Marty's like, is thankfully unable to rape someone because he finds it too weird. But then Biff comes in and starts like fucking with Marty, and Biff starts raping Lorraine. George comes along, knocks out Biff, and he's the hero, takes Lorraine, goes to the dance. Marty plays buddy Johnny Be Good, and then they all lived happily ever after. Marty goes to see Doc. They fuck around with this long cable going from the clock tower. They fire up the DeLorean with what kind of power? I don't know. I'll come to it later. And Marty drives at 88 miles an hour, and Doc, just at the right time, sparks the cables together to bring the lightning down, and Marty has enough energy to go into the future again. Flash cut to now he's back into his hometown, and he's like, right, I've got to go save the Doc's life because I've just put myself 10 minutes in the past. But the car won't start, so he skateboards or he runs over to where the car park is just to witness the doctor being shot again. And he's like, "Fuck! I couldn't save the doctor again." But what I didn't tell you is that Marty had written a note to the doctor saying, "In the future, on that night where you discover time travel, you get shot. So take whatever measures you can." And the doctor's at the time's like, "No, I don't want to read it." So he tears up the piece of paper. But when Marty goes to see the doctor and he cries again, after seeing the doctor being shot, he's like, "What the fuck?" The doctor gets alive again. He gets alive again. He basically breathes in again because he's wearing a bulletproof vest. And Marty's like, "I thought you didn't believe it. You thought you didn't want to have any of that." And the doctor's like, "Nah, fuck it anyway." And because he wore a bulletproof vest. End of film.
First of all, why does no one look the age they're supposed to be?
I can kind of believe that they can be 17, maybe.
I feel like they kind of pick people in the middle of the age, and so they could kind of make them younger or older, but they don't look right in either sense.
So I feel like Marty doesn't look like Marty's age the entire film, but
No.
he doesn't actually have to age either way.
No,
He's
he
the
doesn't.
same age the whole film.
But
So
he looks
way
so
too
much
old.
older than he's
Yeah,
supposed to be.
yeah.
Like he literally. Have you seen that pitch? It's a meme. I'm sorry, Kieran. I'm doing an audio meme.
No.
Where it's Steve Buscemi and he's like got a hat on or something. It's like, "Hello, fellow kids."
Oh yeah.
Like, yeah, it feels like Marty is like this 30-year-old man. And he's just like, "I can be cool. I play the guitar.
I skateboard.
Yeah, radical."
It's a bit of a difficult one because they obviously have to make it obvious that it's the same person, whether it's in 1955 or 1985. But I guess they could have looked...
Well, that doesn't matter, does it? Because it's just the same person.
I reckon it's easier to age someone than it is to
Yeah.
make them look younger. So
Yeah,
if
probably.
they'd have had everyone as like maybe 19 instead of... I reckon they're all like 24 at least. So like something like that. So if everyone was 19, they'd probably look young enough to pass as 17, which is the age they all are in 1955. And then to age them would be a much easier process, aging someone 20 years. I mean, I've done it. So I aged myself 20 years
Yeah,
in the 20 years that I've been alive.
yeah,
So if I can do it, then surely they can.
yeah.
That works.
Well, as we know, you are a shining paragon for what is right. So
Yeah. By the way, when Marty goes to plug in his guitar, that's not how you plug in a guitar. Because when you plug in a guitar
Yes.
and you just have or any kind of instrument and you just have the amp on and everything, and the cable is just loose, it goes. Bzzz.
He did everything
Yeah.
in the wrong order because first of all he turned the amp on,
Yeah.
and then turned up all of the power,
yeah,
like all of the volume knobs, whatever
Yeah.
they were, and then he plugs the cable into the amp, and only then he plugs the cable into. That's like the way to get the most bangs out of your instrument.
Yeah.
I was about to say, like, the explosion would have happened well before
Yeah,
he
as
played
soon
any
as he
note.
put the cable
Yeah.
into the guitar,
And the thing is, you heard the noise as well. It was just like a. Like
No.
it was very subtle. Like
It would have been
just a little like because
Yeah.
obviously they didn't actually hook it up to something that ridiculous. So,
They didn't
Like,
hook it up to a
because-
thing that then broke.
but this is the thing, right? Surely the people that were like filming that and the equipment that they would have got, like someone there would have known that was proper fucked up. Like that's not how you do it. So why do they literally film it thinking that the audience is idiots?
I think the reason why they did it in that order was because it looks cooler. I think it's as simple as that. That the last thing that happens is the guitar. By the way, bit of a shit guitar. I thought it was a bit of a lame little guitar. If you're gonna have a
I
rock,
thought it was pretty cool.
well, I mean, it's hard for me to judge because I don't really know guitars. It just wasn't really to my taste. But I think it's the order of like turning the amp on, turning the things up, then you plug in the guitar. I think that order. But then I think about it the other way around. If they'd have done it the correct way around, where you plug in the guitar first and then you finish with turning on the amp, then like surely that would still look as cool.
Yeah, you could have done it with the scene ending just before he plays with all the dials going where they all flicked over. Because he turns everything up and then he does like one more knob and then all of a sudden we get a scene of all of the dials flicking to full.
Right.
So like that could be
That
the
could have
last
been the
bit.
last
It's like
thing,
flick,
yeah.
flick, 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 flick. Dun.
Yeah. So, okay.
Hit me up,
Maybe you could have just
Shakespeare.
played the guitar at a
Shakespeare?
sensible volume.
Shakespeare, Spielberg. As if you just confuse one of the greatest playwrights of all time with one of the best directors of all time. Biff is such a wanker, and the dad is such a wheezy weasel.
A wheezy weasel.
A weedy
It was
weasel. that's what I
slightly
meant to say.
unnecessarily
Over
exaggerated.
weedy, yeah.
To me, he just constantly looked pissed. Like
As
he
he
was
was drunk.
constantly just like, "Hi, Marty, I don't know if I can do." And he's like walking around all weird and like lanky and strange.
So you think he looked drunk? At the
Yeah,
time?
he felt like he was the actor was overcompensating, and it just came off as almost like drunk to me.
This is like Spielberg. You've got to assume that he's been asked to do that, and if not, they
Right.
get someone else to do it.
Right.
I don't know. Can I have a beef?
Ooh,
Yeah.
go on.
Marty did not give a shit about his brother and sister potentially dying. They were only like the fuse that ticked down
Very
until
much,
he
yeah.
died. It wasn't like your brother's head's gone. He's probably dead in some timeline somewhere. It's like, no, my brother.
Yeah.
He was just like, your brother's like started to disappear. It's like, oh no, that means once my sister's gone, I'm dead.
Yeah, he's like,
It's
your
like he
brother's
did not care about his
your
siblings.
brother's
That's a good point,
disappearing.
yeah.
Oh shit, I don't have much time left, kind of thing. Yeah, that's a good point. Marty's a dickhead. I mean, Marty kind of seems like a bit of a dick anyway. I think he's very marginally a good guy.
I don't know. I
A
thought,
lot of what he does is based purely from self-interest.
Well,
The only thing-
how
the
else
only-
can you
from the
prove
start
that?
of the film, he goes to help out a friend and then is immediately transported to another time where he was going to die if he doesn't sort that stuff out. So I'm kind of...
Well,
I can forgive some
you
of that.
know,
Can you
I
show
mean-
your working, please?
So the only thing that he seems to do that doesn't directly affect himself is trying to write the note for the doctor to
Right.
let him know that he's going to die.
Uh-huh.
What else does he do? That
Well, like, at
is-
the beginning, the doc's like, come and help me at the car park. I need your help. And he goes and helps him.
I mean, he's
not
obviously-
asking for payment.
So obviously he's got a relationship with this guy.
He's got a great relationship with his girlfriend, it seems. You know, that's nice. He's committed to her.
I mean, to be fair, that is for his own good as well. But, you know,
Well, it's for mutual good. That's what a relationship's for. It's not just about him getting laid. What's wrong with you guys today? Fucking hell.
relationship problems with Kieran Pearson.
And I'm just thinking, like, he's
The irony.
fuck you.
Go on, Kira. Tell us more about how you know the intricacies of a relationship.
Don't
Don't let me stop you.
Don't.
I'll wait.
I don't think that he's a bad guy. I don't. The only evidence that he's a bad guy is that he apparently doesn't care about his brother and sister. The rest of the time,
Which
I
is
think he's
pretty-
being fine. Yeah.
Pretty
that's-
damning evidence.
Although his brother and sister are kind of
They're a bit.
not worth caring about. Like, I didn't care about them either.
From what we
I
see,
forgot he had a brother
they
and
don't
sister
seem
until the whole photo
particularly
thing.
like.
Also, he doesn't know. He knows that he can't get the energy in the DeLorean to go back into the future until like a week's time. So every time he looks at the photo, he'll be like, "Oh shit." But are you saying it's because he doesn't have the motivation as much to get his parents back together until he sees that he's dying?
I don't know. I think just he seems to just do most of the things that he does for his own benefit.
But of course he has to, because that's how he's going to survive. Like,
Yeah, just even outside of that though, like even before he goes away, he just seems very self-interested.
what? How? What does he do? That
I don't know,
puts
just mannerisms.
I didn't like the way he flicked his hair.
No.
That's the hair flick of a self-obsessed man.
I'm not entirely sure of the doctor's safety precautions. Like he was like, okay, we're dealing with plutonium, and just wears like some kind of beekeeper's uniform.
Yeah.
And-
With his normal shoes on.
yeah.
Did you also notice how he's like very careful with the box, and then he just kicks the box open to like put the plutonium back? He's just like, don't be careful with that, Marty. You got to be careful with that. And then he just like grabs the plutonium, kicks it, and like the box opens, and he just shoves the bottle back in.
You know, your impression of the Doctor is just Rick
because yeah,
it's because it's based off that.
It
yeah.
is, yeah.
Can I have some more beef?
Yeah, go on.
Okay, so time travel paradoxes are just like haunt every film that has time travel in it.
Yeah.
But specifically this one, they make a whole point of throughout the film putting in loads of little things that are just like, oh, look how these things are linked and how this is actually affecting that in the future. And that's
Yeah.
really cute and slightly too 80s for my personal tastes
Okay.
because it just goes a bit far, but whatever. It was out in the 80s, so, can't complain about that.
Mm.
But then at the end, he's called Marty, right? And supposedly he's called Marty because she met this guy in school called Marty, and she's like, oh, Marty,
Yeah.
what a nice name. Which is a cool concept, except he was called Marty before she met him, because the first time through the timeline, he's got a lame dad, and Biff is the bully, and his mum's a drunk. And then when he goes back, that's when he changes the timeline, but he was already called Marty. That
Yeah.
annoys me.
See, watching this the second time round, I was thinking that there was like, in terms of time travel paradoxes, I was thinking that he had always got them together, but then as the film progressed, I became aware that that wasn't the case, and that he'd entered like another timeline when he came back.
That's a really good point.
Because otherwise, if Marty had been back there the first time through the timeline, then his parents would have turned out
The way
the goods,
Yeah.
fun people, whatever they are the second time around, however you want to describe them, golfing, whatever they were doing. By the way, that last scene, how did that work? They were coming back from playing golf when their kids were going to work.
Yeah, and also at 10:30, like the alarm goes off at 10:28
For his
something
brother
like
to
that.
go
yeah,
to
who
the
the fuck
office
And
wakes
his
up at that
brother's
time?
in a suit in the office having breakfast at 10:30.
And his brother works in an office in a suit
Yeah.
and can't afford to move out in Hill Valley. Is it called Hill Valley? Is that right?
Like, what are you doing? Why are you so late for work? I can't imagine that you start at 10:30 if you work in an office.
no
Maybe that's
wonder
why-
you still live with your parents.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
that's why he doesn't have the money to go to work, is because
he's
every
just
day he's doing
constantly
3 hours. Yeah. He hasn't been meeting his KPIs.
No,
or
he
whatever.
certainly has not.
All right, I've got some stuff just to rattle through.
No, but one of the
Okay, fine.
one of the things, just whilst we're talking about the time travel paradoxes,
Go on.
like one of the things that always bugs me about this whole film is like that his parents would recognize him. Like if he's named after Marty, who she met, like who had such an impact on her that she named her child after him, she's gonna remember vaguely what he looks like. So when he looks exactly the same and acts the same and plays guitar the same,
And wears the same.
yeah, are you
body
not
warmer
going to be
thing.
like,
Yeah.
what the fuck? Like, what is fucking going on?
Because it's not as if he was just some random guy. Like that, clearly that guy was instrumental in
Yeah.
their coming together and everything like that. When he goes so he first goes 88 miles an hour and then goes into the past, and he ends up in the barn. So he drives into a barn,
Yeah.
and then when the family open the barn door, they see a car that is like perfectly inserted into the barn with no, like, there's no hole at in the side of the barn. It just looks like the car has been reversed into the barn and then someone closed the door. So what the barn should look like is, one, a wreck because it just went straight through the door, and the door should be fucking blown off the hinges or something like that. Whereas it just looked like it had been reversed inside Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like-
the door of the barn was open. The car goes into the barn, and then the force of like the air moving around like shut the doors behind it.
That's valid. That's valid.
No, absolutely not.
And the
No,
car
that's-
stopped because it hit lots of hay.
that's- science.
He crashed into the barn, and he didn't come in from the other side. No, because there were trees on the other side, and he just went straight through a field, straight into the barn. It just wasn't right.
No, I know exactly what you mean.
The door,
Bollocks.
you
Know
went
exactly what you
in,
mean.
and the force of the wind.
But he didn't reverse in. He went face first.
Yeah, through the open doors,
And then what? Swiveled around inside the barn.
and the wind pulled the doors closed.
But how did he get back into the same position? Sorry,
Flux capacitor, obviously.
No, that's not an excuse. I'm
Time
not
travel.
accepting that. Because if he went into the barn,
Space.
if he went into the barn face first,
Einstein.
and then oh my god, if he went into the
Nuclear
barn,
physics.
nuclear, not nuclear. God's sake,
said nuclear.
George Bush.
I said nuclear.
I got some
No.
beef. Flux capacitor. When Doc's like, oh yeah, I drew this, and he's drawn like a triangle with 3 things coming out of
yeah,
it. It's like,
yeah.
yeah, that's the flux capacitor. Look, I'm no expert in time travel technology, but
not
I feel,
Then why are you here?
I feel like the exact orientation of like the tubes with fluorescent lights in on the flux capacitor are not the thing that makes it work. I feel like his drawing, that's basically a drawing of the flux capacitor, does not contain enough detail
Right.
for him to have invented the flux capacitor there.
Yeah, because
And
what
he's
does
like,
that mean?
oh, it turns out it looked like you could make a smaller one if you put them all in a line, maybe. Like, what?
I
It looks
see what you
cool
mean,
and
yeah.
everything, but it looks very much like someone's redrawn the flux capacitor.
It's
rather-
like the
rather than
cosmetic
someone, like-
design of it,
Exactly,
rather than
yeah.
the actual
That's
the
not-
stuff that
that
does
you're-
the thing.
Maybe he's just
The
got a
stuff
feeling-
that does the thing. That's what I meant.
He's got he's got a feeling about triangles. He just like he drew one. He's like, I think there's
I
something
was really
here.
expecting
There's
for
something
Morty.
going on.
Oh fuck's sake! For Marty,
Morty.
for Marty to show him the flux capacitor, and that's how he came up with the
It's a flux
idea, or something
capacitor.
like that. Not just like because that was like one of the most annoying parts of this paradox that he just came up with the idea when something hit his head. Like I was hoping that he time travels and that causes something to hit his head, and then he sees the flux capacitor or something like that. You know, like
So
so he's actually seen it, and that's why.
genuinely, my guess is that was part of the original idea.
Right.
That it's like, oh, all of these things, like we go back and we see everything that affected the outcome. We see that Doc invented the flux capacitor because he went back and told himself about it, which is cool as a concept. But then you get into this problem that Marty's parents would have been okay the first time round, right?
Right.
Like in order for him to like go back and then be improved, that doesn't work. So I think personally,
Of course, right? Yeah,
the falling on his head thing is like a quick way of explaining that, because they're just like, oh, okay, so he needs to have actually come up with this on his own.
yeah.
How did this happen? Why is he going back to this specific date then, etc., etc., etc.
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it.
You know when Marty's like, oh yeah, and I filmed it on a cassette. Like I filmed what you were talking about, so that Doc can try and find his way. You can find an explanation for how this flux capacitor works, right? So when they go to the car and they bring out the cassette because Marty took the camcorder with him into the past. Marty wants to show Doc what's on the cassette, right? But they are 30 years in the past. Sure, Doc has a TV, but the phono cables don't exist at that point. Yeah. How is he plugging the TV into the camcorder to be able to show it back on the telly?
He's a scientist.
Those cables don't exist yet.
He's a scientist.
No. Because he would have had to like invent the cables or like figure something out. Those cables literally don't exist back then. They would have made them specific for the cameras like 20 years later. I don't think they would have existed.
And there's no input on the TV, right?
There's
not going to be like an
thinking.
auxiliary in on the TV or
exactly.
something.
But you reverse engineer, don't you?
It's
not like he's having to just guess what the input is and how to make it. He knows what the input. He can see like physically. Okay, I've got 2 inputs here. Like a
dude, he's never seen a cassette in his life.
No, but he's a scientist, so he looks at it and he can understand some basics like behind designing some sort of technology. And
At this point, he's only made science that doesn't work.
This is true.
There's
Nothing's
that.
But he
worked
does
until
have a
this point.
fucking big machine, like where he's strapped to his head. There's loads of cables and shit. He obviously has some understanding of how cables, work.
Yeah. Okay, I just thought they were all crocodile clips that you got in school.
I mean, I could accept that maybe anyone else wouldn't be able to do it, but the fact that this is a man that 30 years later develops time travel in 1985.
Listen, I just wanted there to be some kind of a small montage where the Doctor tries to, not the Doctor as in Doctor Who, but Doc tries to figure out like how it is that he can hook up the camcorder to the telly, like a short 30-second
That would
thing
be cool.
where
That
he's
would be
fucking
cool.
around with cables, like he's there, he's got his hand in his head, and then suddenly, yes, I've figured something out, and then he picks out, like an XLR from a box or something. I don't fucking know.
Maybe we could do a spin-off.
Yeah, great. Doc works things out.
Short, a 15-minute short.
Yeah. There's the big, there's the fucking Biff is going to beat up Marty or something like that, and then he runs away, and Biff gets into the car with his guys, and then they chase him around the square, and Marty goes up to a kid who's got some kind of weird scooter thing. So what it looks like is like some kind of a peach basket, right, stuck onto a skateboard, and
Yeah.
and so Marty like rips the peach carton or whatever off the skateboard and says to the kid, "Oh, I'll give this back to you. Don't worry about it." And they do a bunch of chasing around the square, blah 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 blah. And Biff and his guys end up with manure all over them. Don't worry about it. Just watch the film. And so my beef is you have to make the skateboard before you put the peach carton on top of it to make something else. And everyone's all there like, what's that thing he's riding on? What's he doing? I don't understand. It looks like he's skating on a board or whatever it is, yeah? So everyone's losing their minds over a skateboard, but the kid with the peach basket on the skateboard had to make a skateboard in the first place. So it's not a novel invention. He had to make a skateboard.
Also, if you look at the skateboard, it's got a little lip at the back so that he can do the tricks. Because
Exactly.
otherwise he wouldn't be able to do the tricks all the way around.
But it doesn't have the standard 2 wheels or 4 wheels of a skateboard. It actually has like two. At the front is like 2 sets of 2.
Is it?
Yeah, which means that it wouldn't function like a skateboard because
Well,
you
yeah,
need the
you try and
skateboard needs to
lean.
it needs to lean to turn.
Although
Secondly,
he does do a lot of like skid turns, so maybe there's
he skids because the skateboard can't actually lean to turn because it's not a skateboard. But also,
Nah.
in relation to your point, if I drove around in a car that didn't have like the main like
Chassis.
outer body,
Oh, right.
right,
Yeah.
and it was just the chassis,
Yeah.
and I was driving that around,
Yeah.
do you not think people would like crowd over and be like, "What the fuck is he doing? Like, what is that?"
But the point is that you have to have... You had to build that thing before you put the outer body on
Yeah,
it.
exactly. Like you do a car, you make the chassis first, and you
Yeah,
put the
yeah,
outer body
but
on.
this
So
is
if
what
we
I'm
just
saying.
took the outer body off, which is exactly the same situation that you're talking about,
Yeah.
then are you saying that people wouldn't also be shocked by that?
But no one would be that crazy about it because it's
Yes,
like...
they would.
No,
Fuck
they
off.
wouldn't. No, they wouldn't.
If I was driving around with literally like no fucking seats or windows or outer body whatsoever, it's literally just like a piece of metal with like a motor on it attached, and I'm driving that around in the town, people are definitely going to be like, "What the fuck is that?"
But they can tell that it's a car. It's not as if you're driving
they
it
know
differently.
that it's a mode of transport. It's got an engine. They recognize parts of it, but they've never seen something like that being driven around before, and they're like, "What the fuck is that?"
But you're driving it like a normal car. But what Marty is doing,
I'm doing
is
skid turns.
What Marty's
I'm doing
doing-
donuts.
Marty is riding a skateboard, whereas these other kids, these little kids, were doing it like a scooter.
Yeah.
Yeah. But when you build that scooter, you have to have built a skateboard in the first place to be able to put the extra shit on it. So as if the kids made the skateboard in the first place and didn't think, well, I could just ride this. So
Well, technically, they wouldn't be able to use it like a normal skateboard because it doesn't have the bending. So they'd have to figure
But
out
they
how
would
to
have tried
turn
to figure
using
it out.
this thing, using the edge bit to do the
So
skid
how
turn.
the fuck are they doing any turns at all?
And maybe they
on the
haven't seen
scooter?
anything like that, so they don't know that they can use it like that.
I'm not buying this at all.
What is there not to buy? I'm just saying that, like, obviously they've not seen anything been done like that before, so it's entirely reasonable that they wouldn't expect for it to be able to be possible.
Right, as deciding vote, I'm siding with Jordan on this one. Sorry,
Fuck
Kieran.
off.
Sorry, Kieran. Like they already had the peach box, like the box for the whatever it was, fruit box, and they've stuck some wheels on the bottom of that. And they're like, "Oh, look at this! We can like ride the box around." And it's only Marty that's gone, "We don't need the rest of this box. Just chuck that away, and
he
now you can do
hasn't.
cooler things.
There's a board, and there are the wheels attached
You're
to the board.
you're assuming that they've built from the bottom up. They might
They
have built
started
from
with
the
the
top
box,
down.
and then they added
don't
the
know.
wheels. Surely they had
No,
the
because
vegetable box.
because there's a box on the plank, and then there's the wheels
But
underneath.
maybe the plank's on the box.
I think the plank is part of the box, and he ripped off the rest of the box. I'm more
Technically-
concerned with when he gives it back to the kids at the end. He's like, "There you go." It's like that's not okay.
You've got to fix it.
I smashed your window. Here's the rest of the glass. Like, that's not the same thing.
You got some bits and bobs?
Yeah, let's do some bits and bobs.
Did you notice the theater says like XXX orgy American style? Like that's a
when
bit...
it goes back into the future. It's just like
No, it was there, yeah, in the past as well, before he leaves. It's so it's not like an alternate dimension where he's come back to, where like porn is just being like. Where does that happen? Where do you
What,
go
where
to your
porn's
local
in the cinema?
Odeon and it's just like triple X backdoor women times number 2? I don't know.
Sorry?
Have you seen a porno ever?
I've never seen a porn.
Right, of course you haven't.
Backdoor women version 2.0.
I liked at the beginning on the clocks.
Yeah.
It's like I know there's loads of little loads of little bits, loads of little hints towards like stuff changing between the past and the future in
Yeah,
the film.
right.
We could talk about them forever, but the two I noticed that I hadn't noticed before were right in the opening scene where there's all the clocks.
Yeah.
One of the clocks has a little man hanging off it, off one of the hands of the clocks,
Right.
which is like reference to the end when he falls and he has to grab onto the hands of the clock in the town square, which is cool. And then it's also right at the beginning, he knocks over the guy's pine.
Yeah.
And I just hadn't noticed before at the end, it becomes the Lone Pine Mall instead of the Two Pines Mall.
Wait, he knocks over the guy's.
Ah.
So when he go into the sheds,
Yeah.
well, into the barn, sorry, that you didn't have a hole in it.
Yeah.
When he comes out of that barn,
Yeah.
as he drives away, he knocks over, there's 2 pine trees and he knocks over one of them. They're like baby pine trees.
Yeah.
He knocks over one of them and the guy goes, "My pine!" And then he drives away and everything. And then when he comes back into the future,
Yeah.
instead of the Two Pines Mall, as it was before, it's now called the Lone Pine Mall.
Ah.
So like he's affected
nice.
that. I mean,
more you
the
know.
idea that he only affected that and the guy didn't go, "Guess I plant another pine tree," or anything like that. You know, it's like
That's
not
it.
entirely
That was
believable,
my last
but it's
pine
yeah.
seed.
If only I had another tree that generated
Yes.
them.
Okay, should we do some bees and brings?
Yeah, sure. So I would probably be the doctor, and have definitely made it so that the Libyans didn't find me. Maybe not test this out in the middle of a car park,
Yeah.
or just a much more secretive place rather than, like I said, in the middle of a car park. Seems like a fairly public place to be doing it, and especially if he seems to have like a mass amount of land. I mean, I know he's like sort of sold off all of his family fortune and everything, but surely he would have like had some sort of private space, or even if he broke into a private space, you know what I mean? Like just somewhere that's a little bit more secure.
So that the Libyans don't come get him.
Yeah.
Okay, I still think they would have
just
found a way to get
generally
him.
being smart enough to stop that from happening.
Right. Okay. All right. I would be Marty and find a way of getting George to intervene with Lorraine without having to invoke some kind of rape thing. Yeah, so I would be Marty and find a way to make her angry and have George to come and punch someone in the face, and George comes and is the hero without having some kind of sexual assault. Yes.
I'd be the guy that owns the pine trees.
Okay.
I definitely plant another pine tree when my
Right,
pine tree got
smart,
knocked down. But
smart.
also, I think in the barn, I'd just shoot Marty
Yeah.
and steal the DeLorean
Yeah.
and then be famous
Yeah.
for having invented
Why
time
did he
travel
not go
myself.
to the barn with the gun in the first place? That's why.
No, he had a gun.
But no, he went back and then he came back with the
Yeah.
gun.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's like, go get my rifle.
He took his whole family to like the strange situation and then came back with a gun. Like,
It's an
no,
alien. Like,
you go
shoot
on
the
your
alien.
own with a
Be
gun.
famous for finding the thing that wasn't an alien. It was
Yeah.
just a human
Yeah.
in some weird clothing. And then you got the DeLorean.
Why is everyone so scared of people in yellow jackets? Like, why is that so scary?
Probably a race thing.
Okay. If you were to bring someone in, Jordan?
I'd like to do some sort of like situation where when Marty comes back, it's just Rick from Rick and Morty, and like tie this to the actual Rick and Morty universe, and because in that there are like lots of the many Ricks, and there's the Council of Ricks,
Right.
and I'd like for one of those Ricks to just be real life.
Doc.
Doc. And like they swap out or something, and then Marty just comes back and it's just like, and he's just drunk and shit, and it's like, this is taking a turn. I don't really understand what to do with this, and now I'm a little bit afraid because now this doctor is just a drunk and getting people killed.
Would it be live? Would it be live motion or?
No, he'd be animated in a live.
Oh
in a
god,
live-
that'd be weird.
Yeah, like some sort of like Looney Tunes style.
I like the idea of just so that Jordan is right on occasion that we could bring back Morty.
Yeah.
But he has to just hang. He does everything that Marty does, but kind of next to him. But he's obviously just a little bit concerned about everything that's happening and questions every decision and whether it's the right one. I think that would make. I think like Morty and Marty could be its own sitcom.
It could be, they'd be good buddies.
He's like the less confident little brother or something.
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
but
Okay.
somehow a little smarter.
Okay. I you know Einstein the dog,
Yeah.
Doc's dog. He looks like the same kind of dog as in the show Come Outside, the one that they go in the
That
plane.
is a deep cut.
I don't know what that is.
Oh,
That
mate!
is a very deep cut.
Oh, amazing show where there's some woman in an anorak and her dog, and they go into this polka dot plane, and they fly around to different things, and they do educational stuff.
And she feeds the dog sausages.
And she feeds the dog sausages, and they go and like check out leaves in a forest somewhere, or they go to like a hedgehog sanctuary, and it's all about like, tell me about the story of.
So you
and they
just
have
want
a
to
little
turn
adventure.
You want to turn
So-
this into an educational time traveling program.
No. I'd bring that dog in to replace Einstein. Einstein's a good dog. It's a great dog.
Okay.
But like these two dogs look the same, so I reckon they could get away with just swapping them out and having this dog come in. But this dog from Come Outside was a next level kind of like really well trained and really intuitive to what was going on in the show.
Right.
So I reckon this dog would save Doc's life. I reckon like the dog would come out with a diversion to stop the Libyans from shooting Doc, and therefore save his life.
Okay.
I think if I was changing the dog, I'd go for Muttley
What from?
from Wacky Races.
Okay, and what would Muttley do?
I mean,
Cause mischief.
yeah, probably failed to save Doc, to be honest.
Yeah.
But we
He'd probably just steal the time machine.
or put some like oil on the floor at least for the Libyans to slip.
Yeah, build a wall between the Libyans and him very quickly. Done.
on. Oh, not bad. Okay, that's a good shout.
Okay. Would you stay indoors for this, Kieran?
As much as I have many beefs with it, but they are quite petty. It was fun, and I was into it, and I was like, yeah, cool. I don't think it's as good as everyone thinks it is. It's probably good for the time and everything. That does nothing to tell me to convince me that is an amazing film because it was great for the time. So yeah, watch it. It's not life changing, I don't think. I'm glad I've seen it because now everyone can get off my dick. But like, yeah, it's stay indoors. What about you, Jordan?
Yeah, I probably stay indoors. I mean, it's good, but it's mainly just the fact that the time travel doesn't like have. It's not glaringly obvious how many paradoxes and issues there are with it. It sort of manages to get through it comfortably. So I think in terms of watching a time traveling film, yeah, it's really good. So yeah, stay indoors.
Shav?
I feel like in some ways it hasn't aged perfectly. There's like it's a little bit 80s sometimes, and
Yeah.
like we're talking about
Yeah.
the time travel stuff. These days it's done with a bit more care and attention because people know that
Yeah,
nerds like me sit here picking these things apart. But I can kind of forgive it of most of that because it's just really fun, and you know that as much as good for the time isn't an excuse. When this was like one of the first films to be doing stuff to this level,
Yeah.
with like I don't know, there's probably other ones that people know about that I don't, but like I think it brought this genre of like past future relationship thing.
yeah.
Yeah, I'd stay inside for this.
Nice
Stay
one.
indoors, inside,
Indoors.
Stay indoors for this.
Now, just before we tell you what we're going to watch next week, Jez, do you have any more things to plug? You can just plug the same things you did last time.
Sure. Yeah, I have two albums out. One with a band called Alvorada. You can find that at www.alvoradamusic.com. That's ALVORADA.
Nice.
Alvorada, and we play choro. And you can also find an album from the band Samba Azul. Samba, Samba, Azul, Azul. If you Google it, it will be on there somewhere. There's an album out on Bandcamp. You can check us out.
Really cool music. Go listen to it.
Yes.
Now, next week, we're going to be watching Back to the Future Part 2.
Yes.
Yay! I won't.
Okay, all right. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show, Shav.
Thank you for joining us.
/Jez,
It's been wonderful.
Jeremy, /Jay. Yes, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
We'll see you next week. Bye.
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 So I do believe that'll do it. That'll wrap it up. We've just finished talking about some important things. Now to tell you where you can find more important things. You can find them at the podcatcher that you're using at the moment. So either that, or you can, you got your Apple Music, you got your Spotify, you got Acast, Stitcher, all of those. You can also get in touch with us at 250 Reasons on YouTube. Oh, no, don't do that.
Facebook,
you can do it
Twitter,
on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And you can also send us an email at 250reasons@gmail.com. So yeah, thanks.
Nice one. Bye.